Hey team, it's been a while. If you see my last video, you know why. I've been working on creating not only one training app, but a series of coaching apps based on incredible technology that's allowed me to really take everything I've done into one package to really make my training system and methodology accessible to everybody. I'm on the Snow King boot pack right now. 25% straight up. It's part of my approach to the single track I'm gonna do today, but I was all prepared to do a video mimicking my uphill and downhill clinic I did this past week for the Teton Trail Runners Club here in Jackson. But I'm gonna scrap that. In my hiatus during my app creation, I kind of reflected also on my YouTube videos, and this originally started all with the idea that I'm just gonna riff on what comes to mind that day while I'm out running. And so I'm gonna scrap the uphill downhill run clinic for you guys today. Let me know if you want me to do that in the future, but we're gonna talk about, at this clinic I did this past weekend for the club, I also had you can see what I'm climbing here. I also had the privilege of meeting Jimmy Elam, who just came in second place men at Hard Rock 100 foot race. And we got introduced. I shook his hand and said, congrats on a great race. First thing out of his mouth was, well, it wasn't a perfect race. And that got me thinking. All right, hitting the single track. Got the Tetons. A little bit of smoke this morning. Can't really smell it or taste it, but kind of a little hazy with the view of the Tetons. But before I forget, back to the app real quick. This is gonna launch, the first in the series is gonna launch Tuesday, July 28th. There'll be a special 10-day promotional price for all you guys and gals to check it out. This first series training coaching app is for marathon and ultra marathon training. There'll be other ones to hit other types of running, training to mind, training performance, training run form. So that's going to be all part of the series, but this first one is marathon and ultras. And so be sure to look for that July 28th and the special pricing. But now back to Jimmy. Yeah, first thing out of his mouth was, after my congrats, was wasn't a perfect. And so I think, again, I'm just using him as an example to see what I see with athletes, where they go to all the things that aren't controllable, that they infuse into whether or not they think they had a good race or not. So instead of thinking for Jimmy that, oh, it wasn't the perfect race, maybe he goes to, it was the perfect race because of how I responded to all the challenges. I'm proud of how I responded. Maybe I can get better at responding at certain things, certain low points, but I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of becoming second at Hard Rock, rather than the first thing out of his mouth was, well, it wasn't perfect. And based on a lot of my training the brain with athletes, I've come to realize that kind of this first thing out of your mouth is that this is what we tell our brain all the time. So it's just become a habitual response verbally because of what we think. So where I'm going with this is that I see this, a lot of my athletes as well, is that they place all of their success on, again, those uncontrollables, where they might have accomplished all their goals in that race, but their mind is so conditioned to focus on those 1 or 2 times where things weren't going well. That's normal. And then again, they've been conditioning their brain to think, well, things weren't successful, okay, but they still accomplished what they set out to do. And now they're not allowing themselves that success of a positive outcome of achieving everything they set out to do. They don't allow themselves that success, and that's such a shame. I'll tell my athletes, don't confuse difficulty with failure. And I think that's what's going on here, is that difficulty is why we're signing up for these races. Difficulty is partly why we become a runner to begin with, and creating challenges for ourselves, whether it's getting up 4 a.m. in the dark before the kids get up to get out the door. Whatever it is, there's going to be challenges that, and difficulty that sometimes, maybe most times, we think because it's hard, because it's difficult, therefore I'm failing. And that's not the case at all. Difficulty is just your opportunity to be the athlete and the runner you want to be. Working with an athlete who's doing the Swiss 100, which is a massive mountain race in Switzerland, obviously. And we're working on his why for his race strategy. And we talked about focusing on the effort and falling in love with the effort and making yourself because of the effort you're putting in at any point in the race. Could be during a high moment where things are going well and you're smiling and having fun and taking advantage of that moment and still fueling while you're feeling good, which is key. Also during the low moments, there's going to be low moments in a 100-mile race in the mountains, and focusing on your effort in that moment to get through that low and to make yourself proud of the effort you're making and staying in the moment. So a lot of that time, that why is understanding it's more about the why of what you're doing during the race than any outcome. I really believe there's a proper way to train, proper way to run, and a proper way to think. And oftentimes, this is where the dreaded DNF comes into play, is that we go through a low patch, we start having all these internal thoughts, beating ourselves up. This isn't going how I planned. And all this negative thought is based on external factors. Maybe you're thinking too far ahead. Man, if I feel like this at mile 30, what's the next 50 gonna do? There's no way. And so you're taking yourself out of the doing, out of the moment, and placing all your success or failures on the future of what might what might happen. And therefore, 50 miles ago, I don't want to feel like this for 50 miles. I'm going to quit. Okay? Versus put more awareness in your thoughts and reverse those thoughts so you can say, hey, need to do what I need to do right now. All I'm focused on is that next tree. All I'm focused on is the next aid station. And I'm going to be proud of this effort no matter what the outcome of the race is. And let that keep you going. All right, with my change of plans, I decided to do a loop around the ridge here, a little alpine loop at the top of Snow King. And I'm gonna call it here, but if you see more time to the video, know there's some more good stuff coming, and stay tuned. But so the moral of the story is, don't confuse difficulty with failure. Don't let external factors be predicated on your success or failure, and see difficulty and challenge as your opportunity to be the runner you want to be. All right, I'm on my way down. This is going to be super cheesy, but had a little up and down day, but I'm super proud of adjusting and being aware. I was flying down Snow King and come around the corner, and there's these group of female tourists. They're all framing this beautiful photo with the Tetons in the back, and they're apologizing for being in the trail. And I said, no worries. I stopped, took the camera from the one person who wasn't going to be in the photo, let her get in the photo, snapped a few selfies of them, and they were so appreciative, and kind of made me feel better than the run did today. Kind of cheesy, but be nice to people.